regain if you're somebody like Huskers who went out that early, or can you keep the momentum if you are Jukies or Z Smith? This is the time to keep alive. This is the last time you're playing all these players. We're going to a new group after this.
That is exactly right. A great call out, Dan. We've got a total of 4 maps being played for each group, 6 maps in total. Z Smith starting off hot yet again, and Huskers yet again in trouble early. Huskers, one of the first players to fall last time, and cannot escape the sights of the old Bruin. A classic, a staple here on Resurgence in general in Warzone. A lot of bullets to play with, which just basically means Huskers is pinned down until Z Smith gets bored.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I love that Smith just kind of keeps it going, keeps the trigger down. He's just kind of laying down into Huskers. But you can see it feels like Smith has now moved his way over to maybe somebody else. Huskers has this Car 98 in hand, and it doesn't look like they'll be able to go. Smith says, hey, I don't need to waste my time taking this fight. This doesn't really feel great. I'm moving somewhere else.
Yeah, I think Harbor, Docks, we talk about these POIs all the time, especially on the edge of the map. You heard the analysts talk about it, especially in solos, like looting up here feels a bit more safe, and then you can kind of comb around without a big threat behind you. Stuwo in trouble potentially with Dongy on the other side, and that is exactly what's going to happen when Dongy's on the other side. Maybe you got first shots, but you don't have the weapon or the efficacy that I do as Dongy. That is a single kill his way, looking for more.
I love the way he kind of throws on in. He starts getting shot out. He flies back on out and then just re-chows on a timing that they just were not ready for. So a really kind of solid play there from Dongy. He's looking around. Maybe there could be somebody else over here towards his Harbor side. But this is a nice little area to play in, right? You can kind of decide, do I want to make my way over to Chem? Do I want to start playing towards Factory? Do I even go up towards Prison? You have a lot of options here. So Dongy, he's kind of claimed this space and now looking to make some moves.
Well, the water obfuscates is what Infinity said, and I totally agree. Z Smith finds one in the water, but it's tough to track. Here's some footsteps, though. Dongy gonna try to chow the top player, and it is not even close. Z Smith hardly even loses a plate, playing a fantastic spot on the stairs, using the railing as cover, and takes down his opponent. Z Smith is looking like he is in final form as we head up to the top of Prison, with Crims looking to continue to make some waves in the scene. Crims' squad has been so dominant in competitions previously, and it's for that reason. This dude shoots straight.
Deleted by a single tap SVA. We knew a lot of players are going to be rocking this gun, and that is a perfect example why. Finds Dongy again on the regain, fully wiped out. This was somebody we talked a lot about on top of show, but he is one of the first players eliminated from map number 2.
And that's what we're talking about with solos. It is super difficult. You haven't played a lot of solos Resurgence. Joe Woe falling as well, one of the first 3 players to get eliminated. Z Smith's going to fall in the kill feed, but not fully out of it. If you die, fly back in, and then die very quickly after that, you are done on this map. That's how this mode works. So kind of a brand new mode into the competitive scene. Love to see it and love to see players trying to adjust to it on the fly.
Trying to make something happen. We just saw Hamoud there on 5 already this map, so feeling pretty solid. This was a team that really came out of nowhere. I got a chance to interview Zix, and he said, yeah, going to World Series last year, we had never played a Customs. They played over 30 this year. They're feeling a lot better against this top-tier competition that's there. Mojo on the other side. You got this Car 98 in hand. We said the water obfuscates, and I think this is a perfect example of how that's going. Jackal doing a great job of dodging these bullets.
Oh, connects in this player. I mean, Jackal's got to be just literally 1 HP, but yet again, the footsteps. Because what happens when you shoot your gun? It is a signal flare as Teenix comes flying in to clean up Mojo. If you shoot your gun, it is a signal flare to say, come and get me. There are going to be 3rd parties and 4th parties galore over the next 5 maps.
Yeah, you're definitely keeping your eye on that mini-map. You're chasing red dots at this point, right? And that's exactly what we see happen there. Tenix is able to try and make that happen and is able to do it. As we see him then get in a helicopter for the rotation. I kind of like this. He says, I don't like being out here. I'm not making this rotation. Give me the heli. I'm getting out.
Hisoka fully wiped, by the way, folks. Some of our top players struggling in the solos round. If you see that eliminated, squad eliminated in the kill feed, that means they are out of here. You'll see that number tick down near the top as well, 36 out of 42. Still plenty of players in this lobby, plenty of pieces of cover, and plenty of people lurking in the shadows or up on high as Teenix, after a couple kills to his name, takes the high ground, is going to try to snipe some folks down.
I think this is a really solid spot. We saw kind of players playing on top of prison. It is a nice spot that some players do like to regain at. So, you know, that's a great idea until you have Tenix up there with a Car 98. Cribs flying back on into the water, and it's Z-Dark yet again bringing them on down. No opportunity to stay alive for that resurgence timer.
Z-Dark told us he was trying to bring some respect to Latin America, bring respect to him, his team with Deus Amir, a really strong squad that's played together for a very long time, but he individually is their top slayer and is slaying out in our solos competition as well. We'll swing back over to Jace, who catches Tommy unaware, had him ready, and again shoots the bodies. Jace told me he was going to be shooting some bodies. I didn't know it was going to be this early. Come on now.
I mean, hey, if there's a body to shoot, Tommy might not be the one you want to do. That guy takes it personal. He'll come back, and he will make you pay, but I like it. Jace feeling themselves. I said they look good on the walkout. They're feeling good here on the map.
And that is Tommy actually fully eliminated as well. A lot more players getting very aggressive early. We're already down to 30 out of 42 with our second circle just now closing. So this is actually a much more aggressive second lobby. The players are starting to get their feet underneath them and say, I'm going to go slay out. I'm not going to be camping in this corner. I'm not going to be hanging out waiting for something to come to me. I want to go get it for myself. Everything is earned here in the Esports World Cup. It looks like the players are starting to get the memo as AJ finds a fourth if he can clean it up without getting cleaned up himself.
Nice little slide back and forth. Gets him out of harm's way. Somebody was trying to be able to get that elimination, but King AJ not going to let it happen. Takes down Juki. So that is a really solid play, but he's not alone. You got a couple people around you. Bagel being one of them. We're seeing these thermites come on in. That's actually a shock stick, actually, as you're seeing him go on through. Hops up on top of the box. Oh my gosh! It's Bagel with the turn and burn! Not what you want to happen when you take a fight like that.
BSL going huge on the back of Bagel, also known as Boogs, looking to try to get a second. This time, yes! Huskers! Oh my goodness, Bagel, no bagels today. Unfortunately, finally falls from Zakar, but it took 3 men charging through the doors and through the ceiling to take down Bagel, who will be able to fly back in. Resurgence timer still active. We'll see if he can get active back on the map here shortly as Zakar looks for his 5th.
Wow, absolutely slams King AJ, but you don't get to celebrate that for long as he just gets immediately deleted by Rodrigo, who's now made their way up the top, and it's Z-Smith still back on in here. 4 eliminations, a lot slower game here, but that is A-okay. You come out swinging game number 1. Even if you have an okay game number 2, on average, you're still looking and feeling pretty good.
Yeah, really want to pay attention here to the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. What weapons they have in particular. This will show you if they feel like they're stabilized, if they have the resources they want, if they have their loadout. It is a massive boon in Resurgence, especially having your loadout as you go into the latter half of the game without the Resurgence timer active. That's where you have to have good weapons. Look at this bottom right-hand corner. Rodrigo doesn't have his loadout. That means he just flew back in, has a gray gun, and is going to have to try to take some of these fights at a slight disadvantage.
And he's at a sandwich right now between Z-Smith and Almond, 2 players I would not like to find myself in between. You don't have loadout guns. You're trying to make it happen. Almond kind of makes this play on the outside of the wall, and I don't know what just happens. You have Rodrigo just kind of plays a little bit patient. Almond maybe a little hesitant there.
Yeah, confidence is key, and a great play over the wall jukes his opponent out. And Almond out of here. Resurgence timer going to be closing in about a minute and a half or so. Watch out for that. Intex on 7, by the way. Juki's ended on 8 in the last map. So some of these numbers are like, they only have 4 kills. We're playing customs, folks. These are the best Warzone players in the literal world, all joined together for the Esports World Cup. Call of Duty Warzone competition. And Vision is on 4, looking to make it a lot more as Z-Smith continues to fry. Some of the top fraggers in the game. Intex on 7, like I said before. Z-Smith says, no one's taking the crown as the top slayer today, not in this map.
Yeah, it feels like, you know, I think Smith realized that he kind of overheated a little bit in that map number 1, so he's okay playing a little bit slower here, and it's kind of coming alive. A little bit of a rough start for him, but he's able to regain. Coming back over here towards the harbor, takes down Rodrigo again. That Holger 26 still hitting like always.
I'm telling you, loadout is so key at this moment in the game. You really don't want to die. Now, of course, Resurgence still active just for a little bit longer, but you can't die here if you're Z-Smith. You already have the resources you want. You have loadout. You have the advantage. Keep it. Keep moving. Stay alive. Get your advantages. We always talk about gunfights in a percentage. Dan, we talk about how you want to take high percentage gunfights, meaning gunfights that you know you're probably going to win 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10. having your loadout is a key factor in that. And you can see why Z-Smith's been slaying out. He's doing a great job of just staying alive and not having to restabilize over and over and over again.
It's a really interesting point, though, because if you are, kind of like we saw earlier, if you are a player who comes back in with just the guns that the game gives you off of that resurgence, having some really solid gun skill in your back pocket can be the make or break moment, right? If you're only good with your loadout weapons, it's going to be very hard for you to find those eliminations and find those points through that middle side of the map until you're able to get it. I'm looking at people like Stuo, who's obviously trying to play a little bit of a regain right here. You have the striker in hand. He has Abwas below him, but hasn't been able to see him. We might watch a surprise shark attack happen.
I mean, it's definitely possible. It could just breach the side of this boat and make a play. Again, we're in Codcaster, folks, so we can see things that the players can't, all right? Yes, we have X-ray vision. The players do not. So it looks like Stuo saw him, but it doesn't look like he had an angle. If he did, and frankly, I don't think he knows he's there. Maybe he knows there's a swimmer somewhere around here, but doesn't know exactly where. Now, Juki's the winner of the last map. Aula on top and still alive, but only 4 to his name. And here's a quick look back, the fight on the other side as Visions takes down 1. Intex falling yet again.
A little bit of a time here from Z-Smith, has made his way back on in. Circle closing, Resurgence about to end. So we mentioned it game number 1. We'll kind of remind you here, game number 2. This is where about the pace of play will slow to a crawl, right? You can't come back any longer. You have to be able to play your life.
Yeah, no resurgence, not at all, not a bit of it left, which means you've got to play patient. As the pace slows and everybody lurks for this next circle, things are about to get real dicey. A lot of players starting to rotate in from the outer edges, but Z-Smith in the building, still inside of zone here on the edge of factory. It's going to slowly creep up, and I can only imagine not going to give away his position not too early. Looking for some extra loot, but nothing yet.
Something interesting I just noticed, right? We are just playing in the normal solos mode here on Resurgence. That means we don't have to deal with any of the bans of the ranked playlist.
Right.
I don't know if you saw, Smith's got a thermal on his guns because of how many smokes are used in this scenario, which could have been what led to him being able to find so many of those eliminations. You might try and smoke to get away. Doesn't matter when he's got a thermal on his gun. Can shoot you right through the smoke. Yeah,
it's a great call. Can shoot through the smoke, spot people through the smoke. I think that's a great shout to think maybe that's why Z-Smith's finding a lot of success here. Does make his way to a buy station, and that's a UAV he just popped, so information in his hand is going to help for his rotations, but not if you're getting wall banged out by Almond on about 1 HP in a dream. Reminder, if you fall there, you don't have a self-res, you're out of here. You're back to the lobby. We're in the top 10, folks, already. Our multipliers coming into play in spades. 1.7x if you get to the top 5, and now down to 6 as Liam falls. Oki finding another elimination.
Brother, blink of an eye. We went from 14 squads down to 6. These games are ending quickly as we start to see this kind of zone. If you are someone like Oki, sure, you're finding these eliminations, but you have to go across so much of the map to where this zone is pulling towards.
Z-Smith finds Almond, cleans up his aggressor, says, no, I'm going to be on top. 1.7 multiplier achieved. Z-Smith is at the top of our leaderboard almost assuredly, somewhere around 19 some odd points. Juki's around 16 right beneath him, probably 1 and 2, and Z-Smith is alive again going into the second map with the 1.7x on 8 kills. This is a monstrous effort in the very beginning of this tournament by Z-Smith as he catches another one. Doesn't get given the kill, though. It looks like, I think Stable J was actually the one that gets given the kill based on the amount of damage that was done. This is Destroy Sub. This is his brother. He's here to play, and he might be able to win this second map.
Top 4, map number 2, playing in here. Stable J, has played a lot of tournaments in his lifetime, but usually from the comfort of his own home. It's a little bit different here in Riyadh. So to have this happen in game number 2, that's showing a lot of confidence, but Z-Smith might be able to smell something, and nope, not enough. Patience is a virtue. Stable J taking down Z-Smith, has now made top 3.
Taking down the leader, a huge win for Stable J, and a huge win for his team, by the way. Team Destroy. They need these points for seeding for tomorrow and the next day. Oki on 7, lurking in the corner as well. Gets caught in a weird angle and says, I'm going to make a play through gas. We talk about resources 1,000 times over and over again. Gas masks are key. You've got to be able to make these rotations, especially if it's so slow. Oki puts him on a burn and turn. J-Tech goes down. Omit's out of here in 3rd on this map. It is Stable J versus Oki playing in the gas up the zip.
What?
Who falls first? Oki's self-reviving. What's going on?
Jay tries to make it happen, but he's able to get the final damage in. Stable J, the sub, destroys brother, coming on in. He's getting hyped. He's saying mess with me. Let's go. He might be a sub on the sheet, but he's a main player here today.
I love it. This is the key to esports, folks. When things go wrong, everything gets frustrating. To one of your top players gets taken out from an illness, you gotta have the backup come in and say, I've got something to prove. I talked to Stable J right before the broadcast, and I asked him, what did he want us to know? And he just said, look, I've been game